check, check. Okay, we're good. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच। वाहिगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। नानक सहज मिलै जग जीवन अगर करो निस्तारा एक अरदास पाठ कीरत की गुरु रामदास रखो शरणाई। Good evening, welcome back to In the Code. This is 27th January 2025, 8:56 p.m. and in this stream I'm documenting 3 discrete things in order of importance. The first one being getting these timeline settings right will save you hours of headache inside Vinci Resolve. The second thing I want to document, ignore the fact that there's going to be some noise in the background. I'm not sure how much of it is getting picked, but there's going to be cooker noises and there's going to be mom noises. So ignore that. The second thing I'm going to show you is this little thread here which I searched for online is why when I'm rendering my final video, the audio is only coming from a single track, not from all the tracks, even though I'm clearly selected all timeline tracks. That's some weirdity. And the other thing is an entire workflow of how you should go about approaching a full long form podcast edit. I have done that earlier, but like a more refined version, which will build on top of the first part, which is getting the timeline settings right. So let's cut the chase short. What is the exact timeline settings you need in order to make sure that you don't have any headaches down the line? So when you open any timeline, like this is essentially something you should do at the start of your project when you're making timelines, right? What you can do is you can come in here and click on this button here, this cogwheel kind of thing that opens your I just cancel this cogwheel here opens the master properties for the project. So master settings, when you do this, after you've made timelines, those timeline settings will override this, but if you're like starting out the project, it's just good to do these changes here. So what are the changes? I will just show on one of the timelines and I will show you why each of them is important. Let's just use VS main 1 as an example. So timeline settings, the first setting that you want to make sure is when you come in here into format, you want to uncheck use project settings. If you've done it the way I showed, the cogwheel way, then you don't have to worry about all of this. But if you haven't done it and you've made timelines, then you have to uncheck use project settings. Okay, what you want to do is you want to come in, you want to come in, yep, you want to come in here where it says mismatch resolution, and this you want to keep at scale entire image to fit. Okay, I think by default it is at center crop with no resizing. If I do that, this is gonna happen, which is a result of, yeah. So what that does is, right, what I just showed you is it enables you to come in here and say, let me show you. When you come in here and say playback timeline playback resolution from full to half to quarter, what ideally should happen is you should be able to reduce the resolution of your timeline playback and not the actual frame. It's just some weird thing that the Vinci Resolve does. So I'm going to keep it at quarter, but I want to see the image, right? So for that you want to come in here. Why is this lagging so much? I don't know. Like I'm clicking on it and it's taking a while to respond. Timeline settings. So here, when that's that's by default center crop, you want to keep it to scale entire image to fit and okay. And now something very weird is happening, which I'll have to decode live, and that is, why is this like this? Playback timeline full, at full this is fine. Playback timeline payment quarter is going down. Okay, so let me try and fix this now. Scale entire image to fit is in output. Okay, so I got that wrong. this thing, right, where you're saying playback, timeline playback resolution, full, half, quarter, that has really got nothing to do with this first one, the format one. That has got everything to do with the output tab. So in output, these are both the same menus, right? The drop down options are the same, but in mismatch resolution, you want to select not center crop with no resizing, scale entire image to fit. This thing here, right, this scale entire image to fit, this has to be kept at center crop with no resizing. So just to recap, I made it a bit confusing, so because it's a live stream I cannot edit it. Two things you want to do. First, in this one, you want to come in here with format, you want to say center crop no resizing. Okay, this will allow you to convert your edits which are landscape into portrait or vice versa. You can later change things, I will show you what I mean. And you want to come into output, and inside mismatch resolution you want to change it from center crop to scale entire image to fit, these two. So this one I showed you what it does, the quarter, half and all that situation. In format, center crop no resizing, this is important. uh, hmm. Hmm? Yeah, so right now what is happening is, because I've made the timeline in this particular way, right, initially, after the fact I'm changing the timeline settings, it's not really doing what I want to do. So if I come to timeline settings again, mismatched resolution, this has got to do with when you're taking it into a different the comp timeline. So over here, right, I have a cut down, I'm trying to work on a cut down, and that cut down is essentially, if I locate this cut down is 1080 1920. Okay, but if I come in here and from this comp, which is currently set to scale entire image to fit, okay, but again I've done it after the fact, so I'm not sure how that's going to happen. If I alt click on this, copy, come in here and paste, what this does is it allows me to zoom in. There is an exceptional amount of lag in Resolve, I'm not sure why that is the case, but it's behaving very weirdly. I'll just shut it and start it again. Okay. Yeah, so you see this is the kind of problem that I'm talking about. In here you see this is my comp, or this is my clip in landscape format. If I zoom in here, this is how big it is, right? So when I paste it in here, if I delete this, if I copy this, come in here and paste it, when I scale it down, I should be able to resize it, but it's not resizing, and that has got to do with the fact that two things. One is that this is actually a compound clip. Okay, this is one big thing you want to be careful about. And compound clips, I discussed this earlier in one of the streams or something, is that compound clip, although it is a kind of a timeline, but it's not really a timeline. So compound clips, when you select a certain amount of clips from your timeline, right click to create a compound clip, at that time whatever the timeline settings were, they get hard coded into the compound clip. There is no way for you to go and later change the settings of the compound clip. So and even if you change the timeline settings, it is not going to affect the compound clip, because it's just how Vinci Resolve works. So what has happened here is, the reason you're seeing this as a problem that I'm facing is I can't do anything with this clip now. It's just messed up. And so if I was to come into this particular timeline and try using any of these, right, so center crop, if I say scale entire image to fit, then we're getting something like this. So if I scale this up, then I can use it. and this is very very low res because of proxies. Or is it like lost its resolution or something? Oh my god, because that's something I'm concerned about, because I've scaled it up quite a bit and I've disabled proxies. It's still too blurred. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Yeah, so this stream was supposed to be me telling you about things, but I'm almost like stretch frame. Oh my god, I'm like figuring out what to do myself. Center crop with no resizing. Yeah, but as the name suggests, no resizing is not something that I want. I definitely need to be resizing things, so that's not the one. Scale full frame with crop. Why can't I just move anything once I do this? Scale entire image to fit is the right way to do it. But again, the bottom line, right, the two things that I want you to take away is when you make a timeline or do it in your master settings, for format mismatch resolution, keep it at scale entire image to fit, and for output, keep it at scale. Which one was supposed to be center crop no resize? It was this one, center crop no resize. Wait, it was here. Very important concern I was facing. Timeline to quarter. Yeah, that was here. Scale entire image to fit. But what I'm looking for is change timeline setting of one timeline. Timeline scaling mismatch. So that should be format should be center crop and no resizing. Okay, got it. So when you come in here, you control K. This should be format should be center crop no resizing, and this output should be scale entire image to it. I will try consolidating whatever it is that I'm doing. It's kind of a mess at the moment, and I will make a documentation of that. So now what happened here in the afternoon is the second thing I want to document is in my render tab. I was trying to render. Wait, what happened? From here, let's say this main one, I was trying to render, and when I was rendering, only the first track was coming out. And in my render properties, if you go to the audio tab over here, I was trying to play with these, right, all timeline, so only the first track was going, not the second track. So I kept it all timeline tracks, and everything I tried, it doesn't work. Solution is you keep it at bus 1 stereo, but however what you do is, as this guy pointed out correctly, I don't know why, that's just the way it is. This guy Snoggle 3 years ago. Okay, what you do is you go to the Fairlight page, you click on all your tracks, right click and change track type to stereo, and then on delivery page make sure the output track 1, this one, has bus 1 stereo. So you're going to Fairlight page. If you're facing this problem, right, I'm saying what you want to do is going to come into these two tracks or how many more tracks you have, right click and say change track type to stereo, and that will fix your problem. That's the second thing. The third thing is of course how to make your entire long form podcast workflow. So first thing, you import videos. Once you've imported videos, you attach proxies, you attach mic audio, you sync camera 1 and camera 2 by waveform, and over here I've said duplicate cameras, camera 3 compound clip, make compound clip for camera 1 and camera 2. I'm actually gonna change this to not make compound clips for camera 1 and camera 2, make sequences, because I'm starting to believe that sequences are a lot, sorry, timelines, just make a new timelines. Timelines are a lot better alternative to compound clips. I will see if that makes a difference or no, because I'll have to make this edit again anyway, but I'm gonna stick to not using compound clips. They're just very very problematic for a myriad of reasons I've explained in earlier streams as well, and you saw in the stream also. So make 2 more compound clips for the above, place these inside camera 3 compound clip, Inside these compound clips, add effects, adjustments, and color. Clips inside these compound clips take into color page, apply master color. They should reflect colors everywhere. So all of this is so that if you want to just get an idea, right? I've edited this whole podcast using Autopod, but like now I'm not able to adapt it, so I have to redo it because the way compound clips I set up, it's a nightmare. Anyway, I want to show you how, because I'm not sure if anything what I'm saying is making any sort of sense at the moment. So if I can just show one thing which I've done, see the main, and there should be cam 3 somewhere, timeline, main, open this in timeline, yes, vs cam 3. If I open this in timeline, you can open a compound clip in timeline, sure, but you can't change its settings. That's a problem, no? So here what I've done is I've added 2 different ones, because what happens is there's a problem if you're trying to like match things. Again, timeline settings is one thing you need to be really careful about, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around them, but once I do I will try documenting it properly. But just the raw documentation or whatever it is that I'm struggling with right now, I'm showing it to you. And why did I come here is because I want to show something. What was that? No, that's it. Yeah, this is probably the most messed up stream I've done in a while. Everything is a little all over the place, but I have to redo this whole edit again. It will be a bit of a hassle, but I have to do it once and for all and get my clarity right on what the timeline setting should be. So I don't know what to do with this particular stream. Maybe just let it be, because I haven't really given. One answer I'd have actually given is you want to come in here and timeline settings in format, keep it to center crop with no resizing, and output. What is this? What did I say in the beginning of the stream? This at center crop needs output at scale entire image to fit. Wow, this is the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, this, okay, mismatch resolution, you want to scale entire image to fit, and here format, output, you want to scale entire image to fit, that's why half, quarter, full, and format, you want to keep center crop, no resizing. So then this happens, and then you can scale it down. This is one thing, right? I'm scaling it down, nothing is happening. Okay, and now it happens. So see, this is working fine like it should, but if it was in here, even if I was to come in here and copy this clip, come in here, paste it, this is a, you remember it's a vertical timeline, so I can come in, I can scale it down, and I can adapt it the way I want to. Okay, this is what I was trying to show. I was trying to show this whole stream, that because those clips, right, which I've already edited in the full timeline, they are from compound clips which are made in a timeline where these settings were not done initially. I cannot do anything about it, because I even cannot come in here and select these particular compound clips and alt drag another timeline. It's not working. The Resolve doesn't support that for some reason. So yeah, it's an absolute nightmare if you don't get these 2 settings right at the beginning. And I'll redo this whole project again, and I'll document how it went in tomorrow's session. So today, after a couple of weeks, we've gotten back to the full-time job situation, and it feels good to be able to work the whole day again. It's almost as if I've straight away gotten back on track to where I left from, every single day working in Resolve and trying to figure this podcast situation. And honestly, this one podcast project has taught me so much about Resolve. I wouldn't have been able to learn the software as much as I've had, the nuances of proxies and timeline settings and compound clips and all sorts of things. The the bottom point is that Resolve is very stable, sure, given the fact it doesn't in most circumstances give up on you. it's very strong, stable, performant, but at the cost of all these nuances which you need to know, that I feel nobody talks about, and it makes it really, especially when you're in the middle of a project and unable to figure out what is happening. ChatGPT is a complete uh, waste man when it comes to Resolve. It'll just give it won't even tell you that it doesn't know the solution. It'll give you some very wrong solution, something which doesn't right click and do this. That thing never exists in the right click context menu. That's what ChatGPT. And there are this black magic forums which have the exact same question asked by people, but the answers are either vague or they're like, we've raised a ticket query for it and you'll get an answer for that. So that's very disappointing and disheartening. Anyway, that's it for today's documentation. Little all over the place, I know. I apologize for that. I'm going to try and put all of this together when I rework on this project, and I will do a proper documentation of it. Thanks for subbing the code. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.